Good afternoon and welcome to today's presentation, Thailand Virtual Vacation. I would like to thank all my travel advisor friends out there who have invited their friends, their families, their past clients, their future clients, and anyone who's just literally interested in traveling to Thailand or just looking to get away for the next 45 minutes, even if it may only be in their mind, to experience an amazing part of the Southeast Asia, the area that we often refer to as Thailand. Now, many of you will have been invited to today's presentation because of your travel advisor. They are integral in planning your next vacation. Of course, the industry has changed. Travel around the world has changed. But what we have noticed over the last 3 to 4 months, those people who had booked with a travel advisor were able to get the best results. They weren't kept on hold for long hours with the big box stores. They were able to get answers in real time. There's 10 major reasons why you should book with a travel advisor, and reasons that I'll outline right now. 1, peace of mind. 2, great customer service. 3, they maximize your budget. 4, they give you better choices. They give you a number of choices. They save time. You know, time is of the essence. We've all got things to do. 6, personal service. They can give you their personal insight into a location, but also their personal knowledge that they've learnt from doing various courses associated with travel. Insight and expertise. They also have document assistance, consumer advocates, those are looking after your best interest. And of course, they also have industry contacts. They know people in location. They know people who have been in the business for a number of years. So, hey, we want to say thank you very much to our travel advisors. You're our mates, and you are a person who makes Asia travel easy. Now, if you have any one of your party that is looking at traveling to anywhere around the world, please get in contact with your travel advisor and they will send you a virtual link to any of our 3 brochures. You can see the one there predominantly displayed on the screen right now is for Asia, but we also have areas in the South Pacific, so Australia, New Zealand, Cook Islands, Vanuatu, Fiji, Tahiti, and then of course also Africa as well. You know, looking at places like Tanzania, Kenya, Botswana, South Africa, the list goes on. If you do need any of these brochures, please contact your travel advisor and we will provide them with a link so you can see all of these great opportunities that you have available. However, today is all about Thailand, and you're probably wondering, when can I go to Thailand? What's happening with obviously the coronavirus and the way in which our world has changed? I can tell you right now that the governor of the Tourism Authority of Thailand is setting for international travel to open back up in the 4th quarter of this year. Okay, that's what they're aiming for. As you can imagine, this is always a moving scale. Day by day, things are changing. However, Thailand is looking at the 4th quarter. So we're looking at October, November, December of 2020. So this is the perfect time, about a 6-month window to start planning that trip to Thailand. Now, when they do open back up, as many of you will have heard of the tourism bubble, there'll be certain areas in Thailand that you will be able to travel to. One of the areas that has been mentioned is Koh Samui, and we'll be mentioning and looking at that as we go through today's presentation. So basically, a country will open its borders reciprocally with destinations that also have their coronavirus situation under control. So keep our fingers crossed. We all keep heading in the right direction, and before you know it, we may be visiting Thailand. Now, today we will discover what special places are to be found throughout Thailand and what unique experiences are available to enhance any trip to Thailand. Thailand is the most visited destination in Southeast Asia, and many travellers fall in love with this vibrant country and return. We are very fortunate that today also 5 lucky travel advisors who attend this presentation live will receive a Pad Thai kit, similar to what you can see on the screen here from Ayara Thai. Now, the lady who runs Ayara Thai is a lady by the name of Vanda Asapua, which you can see on the screen right now. She went to college at UCLA, so in California, then spent 4 years living and traveling throughout Thailand before returning home to Los Angeles. During Vanda's sabbatical in her native country, she took extensive notes which including absorbing the Bangkok street food scene, which allowed Vanda to revive old family recipes. After cooking with relatives and eating her way through the streets and countryside, it is these old recipes and new flavours that Vanda brings back to share at Ayara Thai. Now today, there will be 5 travel advisors receiving the Pad Thai kit. Inside your Pad Thai kit, you'll have Pad Thai sauce, noodles, radish, paprika, crushed nuts, powder, shrimp paste, and also a Pad Thai recipe. Now, the great thing about this is anybody who's a travel advisor and that's attending us today, you'll go in the running to win one of 5 of these. However, we'll also be hosting a live Pad Thai cooking class on June 19th at 4 p.m. So for my travel advisor partners, even if you don't win, we'll be sending you some details in the weeks moving forward to show you how you can join this live Pad Thai cooking class and also how you can also get your own Pad Thai kit if that's something that you're interested in. I was fortunate to do this class a couple of weeks ago, and I can tell you it was amazing. The food that was created, very simple, but also very scrumptious. So there'll be more on that moving forward, but 5 lucky travel advisors will have the chance to participate and have their own Pad Thai kit delivered to them. But hey, all of the travel advisors will have a chance moving forward to participate. However, we have a number of people that have joined us today to learn about Thailand and how their travel advisor can make that trip possible for them. Now, the word Thailand means land of the three, and Thailand is the only Southeast Asian country never to be colonized by a European nation. The other name that Thailand is known as, or was known as, was Siam. Many of you are probably thinking, is that where the name comes from? Yes, that is correct. That is where Siamese cats originated as well. The official language of Thailand is Thai, which is thought to be related to Chinese. The Thai alphabet has 32 vowels and 44 consonants, and the language is tonal and difficult to learn. My sister-in-law is Thai, and I can tell you her English is a lot better than my Thai. So that's always a good way to understand the language. However, we are very fortunate for those who travel to Thailand. English is widely understood, and especially in the tourist areas that we're going to be covering today. And as you will notice, also in a lot of the regional areas as well, it's getting to be spoken a lot more as well, especially by the children. Now, Thailand itself is often considered a beach's paradise. And as you can imagine, there's over 1,400 islands in Thailand, so you can only imagine the great beaches that they have available. Amongst the most famous of these is Koh Phi Phi Lay, which was featured in the 2000 film, yes, Leonardo DiCaprio and The Beach. Hard to believe, that's 20 years ago. There are also over 35,000 temples in Thailand, and 95% of Thais are Buddhist. And back in the day, all young men had to spend time in a monastery living as a monk. About a tenth of all the animal species on the planet call Thailand home, and a tenth of all bird species. To put that into perspective, Thailand has more birds than Europe and America combined. Some of these include the spotted wooden owl, the painted stork, and there's also great flora as well. The national flower of Thailand is the orchid. Flora lovers, you'll be pleased to know that 1,500 orchid species can be found growing wild in the Thai forest. Thailand is one of the world's largest orchid exporters. Bangkok was once called the Venice of the East because its original building stood on stilts above the Chao Phraya River. However, as Bangkok grew larger, most canals were filled and paved to create more usable land. There's always something interesting and fun about Thailand. Check this out. One of the country's most unusual festivals is the annual Monkey Buffet, held in front of the Phra Prang Sam Yot Temple in Lopburi province, usually on the last Sunday in November, and the city is about 100 miles north of Bangkok. More than 600 monkeys are invited to feast on tons of grilled sausage, fresh fruit, ice cream, and other treats. The locals see it as a thank you to the monkeys which inhabit the village and bring thousands of tourists there each year. To understand what the country has to offer, you often have to understand the geography. Therefore, you can understand the different destinations that may appeal to you. Covering an area of approximately 200,000 square miles, Thailand is the 50th largest country in the world, most nearly equal in size to Spain. Bangkok is the capital. The geography of Thailand features the natural borders with neighbouring countries, a mountainous border with Myanmar to the north and the west, a long stretch of the Mekong River separating Thailand from Laos to the north and to the east, and the Mekong River and the Dongrak Mountains splitting the border of Cambodia to the east. A peninsula separates the Andaman Sea from the Gulf of Thailand, providing Thailand with beaches and islands along both shores. These are the famed idyllic beaches that we've seen on National Geographic, in magazines, and it really highlights the beauty of Thailand. Doesn't matter where you seem to turn, there's always a beautiful beach or someone willing to be able to show you a little piece of paradise. Known previously, as we discussed, as Siam, the country changed its name to Thailand in 1939, so about 80 years ago. However, during the Second World War, Thailand was in loose alliance with Japan. After the war, Thailand became an ally of the United States. Thailand then saw a series of military coups, but progressed towards democracy from the 1980s onwards. Getting there. It is quite simple. There is a number of different airlines that fly from the US to Thailand. One of the preferred partners that we have worked with a number of times is Cathay Pacific, which flies via Hong Kong, which has all the classes of service, business class, economy service, which you would be accustomed to. And, of course, we also have one of our preferred partners in EVA Air, which also flies via Taiwan and specifically Taipei into Bangkok. They offer non-stop flights from Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco, Seattle, Houston, and Chicago, with connecting flights available from all major airports. Yet again, once you step on board, all of the creature comforts are taken care of, and you may even be fortunate enough to be presented by one of the Hello Kitty staff in the Hello Kitty planes. Now, US citizens carrying a tourist passport and in possession of an onward airline ticket do not require a visa to enter Thailand. The passport must have at least 6 months validity to be allowed entry. Upon entry, Thai immigration officials will place an immigration stamp in the passport permitting a 30-day stay in Thailand. Please note, though, if you're arriving by air or a 15-stay, please be advised, if you're arriving via land, it will be a 15-day stay. The great thing is, it's very simple. No shots are required for Thailand for travellers arriving from the US, but always check with your local travel doctor before going anywhere. When to go? You know it's a great destination. You know it's got a lot to offer, but when is the best time to go? Generally speaking, the best time to visit Thailand is from November to February. Now, I can tell you, I live here in the Pacific Northwest. That is the coldest time of the year, the shortest day. So a perfect time to go to Thailand is when it's cold here in the United States, especially for us that live in the north. The summer period in Thailand, or hot and dry season, is from March to June. At this time, temperatures in Bangkok average around about 98 degrees, but can often reach in excess of 100 odd degrees as well, with humidity of around about 75%. April is the hottest month across the country. July to October is the monsoon, when most of Thailand's annual rainfall is accumulated and flooding can often occur. What to pack? What I love about Thailand, you can pick up most things that you do need in destination. However, things to note. When entering a temple in Thailand, modest dress is required. If you show up in shorts and a tank top, you will be required to rent suitable clothes. To avoid having to wear nasty rentals, the basic rule is to cover your shoulders and knees and also ankles, and that goes for both sexes. On the bottom, wear pants or knee-length or longer skirts, and on top, choose a shirt that fully covers your shoulders. A t-shirt, blouse or polo is fine. Sarongs come in very handy. That is definitely one thing you must pack, and I also suggest carrying a spare as well. A sarong worn around the shoulders over a tank top or used as a makeshift long skirt is perfect and can be used as a beach cover-up later on as well. Please remember though, shoes are removed before entering a temple, so slip-ons might be appreciated as well, just for ease of use. Getting around Thailand. Unless travellers have a lot of time, Flying is the only way to get from point to point in Thailand. Domestic flights are cheap, and alternative methods of transport, such as trains, often can be slow and not always the most reliable. Things are changing though. However, once you do arrive into location, we would suggest using local transport, such as tuk-tuks. Great way to meet the locals, great way to see the city, and also a great way to get an insight into the people and the surroundings. We touched on it, the regions of Thailand, a country that runs from north to south. We're going to begin today's presentation in the capital of Bangkok. It's a city that has it all: beauty, aesthetics, people, and of course, it is a place that never disappoints. Bangkok is crazy, but it is also fun. Most journeys start here and is known as the City of Angels. As the political, economic, cultural, culinary, and spiritual capital of Thailand, Bangkok features both old world charm and modern convenience, at times served up in an apparently chaotic manner, but always with a gracious smile. I often refer to it as organized chaos. Many tourists who travel to Bangkok are initially overwhelmed by the sheer size of the city. It has a population of 10 million people and the vast number of attractions on offer. One thing that you won't miss is the winding Phrae River, and it is connected by numerous canals from which Bangkok has earned its name, the Venice of the East. Nearly every Bangkok visit includes Thailand's Grand Palace, arguably the premier Bangkok sightseeing attraction. Situated in the heart of Bangkok's Ratchasayan Island, the gleaming spires of the Grand Palace are conveniently located nearby Bangkok's most spectacular temples, which include the Temple of the Emerald Buddha, the Temple of the Dawn, Wat Pho, which features an enormous reclining Buddha, which is 150 feet long and it's covered in gold leaf. Something not to be missed is a cruise on the Phrae River, a visit to a floating market, a local supermarket, so to speak, or an exploration of the city's back alley, the canals, or often referred to as the Kalongs. They themselves are unique Bangkok attractions. Other historical and cultural Bangkok sightseeing must-sees are the National Museum, Vimanek Mansion, where not a single nail was used in its construction, and also Suwan Pakad Palace, of all of which either house fine art or are national treasures in their own right. However, no Bangkok trip is complete without experiencing its vibrant nightlife. There are many nightlife areas around the city, each appealing to a slightly different crowd. So best check with your travel advisor first of all, and then check with your hotel concierge, because as I know myself personally, things consistently change in Bangkok. If you're looking for a special experience from one of your travel advisors in Bangkok, we would look at the following. Travel like locals and take the Bangkok Sky train to Phrae River, where you'll board an express boat to Rachong Pier. Then walk to the heart of Chinatown to pay a visit to the Chinese temple of Wat Lang Noya Yai. Enjoy coffee or tea in a typical Chinese shop that looks exactly like it did decades ago. Continue by public bus to the fragrant Indian Quarter, stroll across the iconic Saffron Footbridge to the Portuguese Quarter, which is missed by many tourists. So this is why it is imperative when you're booking, book with a travel advisor, because they can give you these little things that are off the beaten track, but also right there on your doorstep. As you continue your day, you will visit the UNESCO-awarded Wat Phra Yun, lesser known than some of its temple peers, and as a result, far less busy. Here you can relax and enjoy the temple at your own pace. Continue with a visit on an 18th century chapel and alleyways tour of St. Cruz Church, where you can stop to taste the exquisite handmade pastries of the region, but give yourself enough time to reflect on the beauty of the architecture inside as well. Your day continues as you board a long-tail boat and go on a Kalong tour, which ends at Kalong Bang Luang, a small artist village. Walk among the stilt houses, where art of all kinds is on display. On most days, you'll be able to see a puppet show, Return by boat to the pier and your hotel. Here's yours truly at the puppet show. They really come to life and feel like you're experiencing Thailand. And I can tell you, it brought a smile to everybody's face that was in my group on this trip. We now head further south, to the beaches, so to speak. Step outside the capital to the islands. As a perfect stopover sheltering traders from monsoons, Phuket, Thailand's largest island, welcomed merchants from India, Arabia, Burma, and China, and so many other areas around the globe. There's over 18 beaches to choose from, mainly on the west side. What do you look for is the question, which will then also determine which place you stay at, such as Patong Beach is very popular there, which is around about 3/4 of the way down. The island's long history has shaped the Phuket of the present, with its diverse ethnic groups, culture, and also its beautiful Sino-Portuguese architectural influences, and of course the fine cuisine that comes along with this. These attributes have made Phuket a complete tourist destination that offers a lot more beyond its natural heritage of sea, sand, forest, and world-renowned diving sites. Old Phuket town is hard to resist because it has that beautiful architecture of the Portuguese. It also has magnificent mansions that line the streets. With many small cafes, bakeries, and eateries along the way, this is the perfect half-day tour to discover what Phuket is all about. Another great way to experience Phuket is to get up and above Phuket. Yes, heading up to Cape Viewpoint, which draws many people because it has some of the best views from all of Phuket. The Big Buddha is a 150-foot tall, white marble statue visible from anywhere in the southern part of Phuket. And the views from up here are definitely breathtaking. It's one of those things that you must do. Wat Chalong, built at the beginning of the 19th century, is the largest and one of the most visited Buddhist temples in Phuket. Now, if you're looking for natural beauty, Phang Nga Bay is possibly Thailand's most picturesque landscape. A distinctive feature of the bay is the sheer jungle-clad limestone rocks that jut vertically out of the emerald green waters. Koh Phangan is a small fishing village built entirely on stilts in the middle of Phang Nga Bay. Now, the famous movie, The Man with the Golden Gun, was shot here, and it is often referred to as James Bond Island. We now move a little bit northeast to Krabi. Quirky, compact, and majestically situated among limestone cliffs jutting from the mangroves, Krabi serves as a base camp for exploring the rest of the Krabi province. A lush region of jungles and idyllic islands floating just offshore in the Andaman Sea. The entire region is part of a marine national park and hence abundant in all types of marine life. Tiger Cave Temple is one of the must-sees. Climbing Tiger Cave Temple at sunrise or sunset is a must, but only for the energetic. And the reason why I mention this, there's 1,237 steps to the top, but the views and also the reward is definitely worth it inside the cave. Diving is something that's very popular in the Krabi province. A riverside pier links travellers with ferries and longboats to the best scuba diving on the coast. Coral reefs and sea caves are popular diving destinations. Rock climbing is something else that's become quite popular in this region, or cave climbing as it's often referred to in Thailand. Now, for those who like a little bit of nature but without having to do too much, how about visiting the Kolong Tom Hot Springs? These are thermal springs which are believed to ease a number of ailments such as rheumatoid arthritis and various skin problems. Now, whether or not this is true, they make a nice alternative from salt water at the beach. Photography. Some of the best shots I've seen anywhere throughout Southeast Asia have come from Thailand and specifically Krabi. Krabi features some of the most photogenic sunsets in Thailand, often accompanied by spectacular displays of cloud-to-cloud lighting that are best enjoyed from a beachside bar or restaurant. Now, between Phuket and Krabi and slightly south is Koh Phi Phi. It is the collective name for a small archipelago just an hour's boat ride from Phuket. Known as the jewels of the Andaman Sea, Koh Phi Phi is widely considered one of the most beautiful yet easily accessible islands group in the world. People flock here from all over the world. One of the islands, Phi Phi Lay, was featured in the Hollywood blockbuster movie The Beach, a story about the ultimate secluded island beach. We touched on it earlier. About 20 years ago it was made with Leonardo DiCaprio. Maya Bay was the perfect choice as it epitomizes the stunning beauty of these islands. It doesn't matter if you're 7 through to 77, you'll love this part of Thailand. So much to see and do, whether or not that is canoeing in the bay of aquamarine waters surrounded by towering limestone cliffs that harbour white sand beaches, or snorkeling and scuba diving in the region. There's so much to see and do. Once you put your head in the water, you may see docile leopard sharks, or you may even see a turtle or two. Koh Phi Phi also features a vibrant nightlife, with Tonsai Beach containing dozens of beach bars and restaurants, and lively Tonsai Village consisting of a maze of shops, bars and restaurants. Whether you enjoy relaxing in a hammock or body surfing, Koh Phi Phi has a beach that will exceed your wildest dreams. Now, we head a little bit further north, but we head over to the Gulf of Thailand side. Koh Samui is located about 450 miles south of Bangkok. Koh Samui is the third largest island in Thailand, but it is small enough to be circumnavigated in just a couple of hours by motorbike or car. It has developed into its own style of island paradise, retaining much of its natural beauty while offering nearly every imaginable activity or service for the ultimate beach vacation. There's so many things to do. Scuba and snorkeling obviously jumps out, but there's so much to do in the interior of the island as well. Be that hiking to waterfalls or taking quad bikes, four-wheel driving through the jungles of the interior. Some serious, luxurious spa treatments are also available on Koh Samui and any of the islands of the south. Of course, when you do travel, you always want to travel with a purpose. And traveling with a purpose means doing something that the locals do, experiencing what the locals do on a day-to-day basis. Now, that may be going to a cooking school and getting all of the local produce and then creating the meal. Maybe heading off to a local yoga class and learning the traditional ways of yoga. Or maybe being a little bit more active and taking in a Muay Thai training kickboxing class, so to speak. Or you may just want to try something that you know, or too well, just a round of golf. There's some great courses on Koh Samui. If you're looking for a special experience, and your travel advisor would be able to set this up for you, how about exploring the uninhabited islands of Ang Phong National Park by luxurious yacht? Board the Nugget and sit down to a delicious breakfast as you set sail towards the stunning Ang Phong National Marine Park, an area of more than 40 islands located between Koh Samui and Koh Phangan. Here you will find deserted islands, hidden lagoons, limestone rock formations, and pristine beaches. To approach directly to the water of the Emerald Lake, Koh Samui is impossible. You can only walk on the bridges, which are located on the cliffs near the lake. Swimming in Emerald Lake Koh Samui is forbidden. Guides on board your vessel will explain the cause as the presence of a very rare and ancient fish. Visit the beautiful saltwater Emerald Lake, also known as Talaya Nai. This incredible inland lake was the inspiration for the book, yet again, The Beach. Relax on board and help yourself to a buffet lunch as you cruise through the islands. Keep an eye open and your camera ready for the abundant wildlife and marine bird life as well. So we've been to the capital of Bangkok. We've now been to a few of the areas of the south with iconic beach locations of the south. We now head to the north, to the areas known as Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, Nan and Phrae. Many of you will know Chiang Rai and Chiang Mai. They are on a traditional Thailand trip. However, what we are finding is more and more people are looking for areas to discover regionally, and one of those great areas is Nan. So as you can see on the map, it's slightly east of Chiang Mai, but this is an area that we are strongly suggesting visiting, especially if you want to get away from the big city and also get back to a more regional area. It's an area that's growing in popularity and a great opportunity for regional dispersal when you're traveling throughout a country. There are many diverse groups living in the area, such as the local Thai Yuang, the Thai Lu, the Thai Puan, Thai Kawun, and Thai Yai. This is why there are so many languages in this northeast part of Thailand, which is another charm of the Thailand culture. Naarn's history, development, and architecture were greatly influenced by various neighbouring kingpins and kingdoms as well. The rural province of Naarn is an attractive region of northern Thailand where there are high populations of hill tribe communities, including the Hmong, the Nitin, and also the Kamamu. Much of Naarn is devoted to agriculture, particularly rice and fruit cultivation, which you can see here in the background. Naarn features 6 national parks, including the stunning Doi Phu National Park, which contains mountains nearly 2,000 metres in height, which is around about 6,000 feet. The rich natural beauty of Naarn makes it an ideal destination for trekking, as the remote province sees far fewer visitors than Chiang Rai and Chiang Mai. If you plan to visit in October, which is a great time to visit, the city comes alive for the annual Naarn boat races. Make sure you book well in advance with your travel advisor though, because accommodation will be a little bit harder to find at this time of the year. Slightly west, we have an ancient city of Lana, Phrae. Does not only have plentiful natural attractions to offer, but also long, fascinating civilization and cultural heritage as well. This is another province you can visit any time of the year. Phrae contains one of the largest reserves of teak forests in the country and is located on the banks of the Yong River, around about 350 miles north of Bangkok. While the new city is charming enough, the old one contains sleepy alleyways lined with teak houses that are outstanding examples of traditional Thai architecture, and a number of beautiful temples as well. Many of these immense teak mansions were constructed by European traders who were engaged in the teak trade back in the 19th century. Those looking to expand their knowledge of the local culture can even spend some time at the local folklore museum or explore the quiet alleyways of the city's old town, where many old and beautiful temples and teak mansions can be found. We now move across to Chiang Mai. Thailand's Rose of the North is a cultural and natural wonderland with ethnic diversity. A multitude of attractions and welcoming hospitality. The city features century-old pagodas and temples next to modern stores and boutique hotels. Chiang Mai is also blessed with pristine natural resources, including mountains to hike in, waterfalls to swim in. Just look at the beautiful Bua Tong waterfall here and the multitude of levels available. And let's not forget about its river system. The presence of numerous hill tribes that features a wealth of unique cultures enhances Chiang Mai's distinctive diversity. And these rivers are the lifeblood of Southeast Asia. Of course, whilst you're in Chiang Mai, you will want a travel advisor to book a city sites tour for you, so you can take in the great sights of the city, be it the ancient moated city or just the history of the region. Of course, whilst you're in the north, take advantage to get out and visit a tribal area. Now, that may mean hill tribe trekking, which has been a mainstay of Chiang Mai tourism for many years. Here you can spend a day or maybe more with the locals. Experience firsthand typical Thai culture in the north of the country, but also bring that together with authentic whitewater rafting experiences. We touched on it before, travelling with a purpose. How about travelling to a destination in Chiang Mai and learning how to give a massage, a traditional Thai massage? So as opposed to receiving, you are now learning the techniques. Cultural performances are a must, and in the north is one of those things that you need to add to your must-do list. Music and dance are part of the Thai culture and are both easily seen in Chiang Mai. Now, there are some special experiences that a travel advisor can arrange for you in Chiang Mai. Full-day elephant sanctuary visits, also known as swing with elephants, create lifelong memories of a full day interacting, feeding, playing, and bathing with elephants in the beautiful Chiang Mai countryside. Elephant tourism has come under scrutiny recently, and Asia Answers and your travel advisor only endorses cruelty-free operations, of which this is one. Early morning departure from your hotel to head out of the city into the scenic countryside, and this is where the elephant sanctuary is located. This ecotourism project provides mistreated elephants with a safe home amid spectacular jungle scenery. Here the elephants are not ridden by tourists. Instead, they are showered with love, respect, and care. On arrival, change into traditional Karen clothing before meeting the elephants. The sanctuary staff will tell you the personal stories of all the rescued and orphaned elephants that currently reside there. Grab some bananas and sugarcane and spend time feeding the elephants their eagerly awaited treats. Also learn the correct way for them to administer their medicine as well. After lunch, overlooking the beautiful scenery, take a walk with your four-legged friend to a nearby river for some watery fun. Get muddy as you treat the elephants to a therapeutic mud spa by covering them in a protective layer of mud. Join them in the river to play, swim, wash, and brush the elephants while they wallow in the refreshing water. Of course, in the north, also participate in an authentic Thai cooking class. A 15-minute transfer takes you to the outskirts of Chiang Mai, to a non-touristy side of town. Here you will take part in a unique Thai cooking class. The school is set in a classical Thai teak woodhouse in a very peaceful area with a beautiful herb garden and organic farm adjacent. You'll learn about the herbs used in Thai cuisine, and fresh produce from the farm is used in the dishes you learn to create. Of the many cooking schools in Chiang Mai, this is surely one of the most elegant. At the conclusion of the lesson, you will enjoy the meal you made. One of those things that we consider a must, and we always suggest talking to your travel advisor about this, is spending a day with a lovely Lana family and learning more about the northern Thai culture and, of course, the traditions of the north. Experience a local way of life and participate in handicrafts being made for local products. Stroll through the orchid and herb garden. Your host family will also demonstrate how to make bamboo baskets and cigars from banana leaves. This rich cultural experience will wrap up with a delicious home-cooked northern Thai lunch or dinner that you'll prepare with the family. Our last stop today, right up in the tip of the north, is Chiang Rai. Chiang Rai is a traveller's paradise endowed with abundant natural attractions and antiquities. Attractions range from ruins of ancient settlements and Buddhist temples to magnificent mountain scenery. There's so much to see and do in Chiang Rai. One of those areas to visit would be Wat Phra Kaew. This is the city's most revered Buddhist temple. The main prayer hall is a medium-sized, well-preserved wooden structure. The octagonal chetty behind it dates back to the late 14th century and is in the typical Lana style of this region. The adjacent two-story wooden building is a museum housing various Lana artifacts as well. Of course, hiking in the north is a must, and going to a hill tribe is also a must, and along the way, taking an education centre. A visit begins with a 20-minute slideshow on Thailand's hill tribes, followed by a self-guided exploration among exhibits that include the typical clothing of 6 major tribes, examples of bamboo usage, folk implements, and other objects as well. The curator is passionate about his museum, and if present, will talk and take you around the museum and tell you about different aspects. All the money goes back to the museum and the people of the region. This area in the north, Chiang Rai, Chiang Mai, is known for its hiking. And of course, trekking in this region is also very popular and a great way to get out and get some exercise. As we touched on, visiting a tribal visit in Chiang Mai, or Chiang Rai in this instance, is definitely a great way to participate in giving back. Either trek or drive to hill tribes, many of which maintain traditional lifestyles. If you are concerned that this may be exploiting, rest assured that Chiang Rai is also a centre for community development projects helping rural villages. Here they'll develop attractions that allows them to give back, but then also allowing you to participate in their day-to-day life. Around Chiang Rai, there are so many great areas to ride. Now, be that on a traditional cycle or hiking, there is so much to do and see in the mountains. One area that we get asked a lot about in regards to travelling to the north is the Golden Triangle. This is where Thailand, Laos, and Burma, Myanmar, come together, an area that was once the hub of the opium production, a trade that has had such an influence on cultural practices and lifestyles of the north. A popular tour includes a visit to the Golden Triangle and the Mekong River. If you're looking for something a little bit different, probably not for everybody, but you never know who may be interested. One of the best cycling tours that you can do on motorbike, that is, motorcycle tour, is between Chiang Rai and Chiang Mai. For those who like a little bit of adventure, this is a balance between temple viewing and then also getting out on the open road. It's a 2-day, 1-night motorcycle tour from Chiang Mai to Chiang Rai. On day 1, you'll receive a briefing about the tour. You'll get yourself an opportunity to familiarise yourself with the motorbike, and then you'll have 12 miles of riding through these beautiful, exhilarating, winding rural roads that you can see on the screen right now. Your first stop, though, will be at Phaton, where you'll have a chance to explore and visit Wat Phaton, a temple which is located close to the border to Myanmar, on top of the hill overlooking the village of Bantong and also the area known as the Mai Kok River. After a local lunch in Phaton, continue on rural roads to Chiang Rai, where you will overnight. The next day, leisurely explore the remarkable ruins, or the area that's known as the White Temple, Wat Rong Kun, and then you'll also have an opportunity to make your way back to Chiang Mai along the stunning Road 118. So a picturesque, beautiful ride before arriving back into Chiang Mai. So one way up and one way back. So that brings us to the end of our overview into Thailand and the major areas, the capital being Bangkok, the beaches areas of the south, obviously Phuket, Krabi, Koh Samui, and then looking at the northern regions of Phrae, Nan, Chiang Rai and Chiang Mai. And I'll endeavour to answer some of the questions that came through. I can see there's quite a lot. I won't be able to get to them all, but I'll answer probably 4 or 5 of them right now. Any that I miss, I will follow up with an email and be in touch with your travel advisor with the answers. We had one question here coming through. Will this be recorded today? This presentation is being recorded, and if you're a travel advisor, we'll be sending you a copy. And if you're a friend or a colleague of a travel advisor, reach out to the travel advisor who introduced you to today's virtual vacation, and they will have a copy of it, which is the way in which we'll be able to distribute to everybody who's on the call right now. Thank you very much. I can see Patricia said that she loved some of the visual imagery that she saw today. Thailand is a photographer's paradise. It literally is one of those places that doesn't matter where you look and what you click at, it turns out pretty much perfect. Mike, you'd mentioned that the tourism manager had mentioned July. Yeah, the international airport is going to be opening back up, which is fine, but I'm also hearing for Thailand, a lot of that will be domestic travel in and around Thailand. I spoke to the Thailand Tourism Board yesterday. You know, things are always changing, but they're hoping for, realistically that last quarter of this year, when hopefully we'll be able to get, mainstream international travel back there. But everything is a sliding scale, so to speak, at this time. So, yeah, the best thing is to stay in contact with the local tourism board and up to date, which is who we've been speaking to. So there will be people I know in Thailand in July, but that may be just domestic travel in and around there. Babs was asking, will things change with COVID-19? Babs, definitely things will change. And as soon as we have that information, we'll be sharing that with all of our travel advisors and keeping everybody up to date so they can then pass it on to family, friends, and people that are looking at traveling. Is there an easy place to find resources for the tours you located? Diana, if you're a travel advisor, I can send you the link. And Diana, if you have a travel advisor who introduced you to the virtual vacation today, reach out to them and then I'll be able to send you a link to our brochure, which then gives you a great insight into what's available throughout, Southeast Asia as a whole. So just reach out to whoever put you in contact with today's presentation. Best virtual tour of the day. Thank you, Patricia. Yeah, I love Thailand. I mean, I've been very fortunate myself. I've traveled there probably 4 or 5 times. My sister-in-law's from there. It's actually, we all change our foods that we love, I find. I used to love Italian. I always used to tell people Italian was my favorite food. In the last 10 years, though, I've shifted gears, and now Thai food's actually my favorite cuisine. I love a good pad Thai. I love a good green curry. I'm sure you're all probably sitting there going, oh, that sounds good for lunch. I'm coming up to lunchtime as well soon, so that might be what I have today. We'll see what's available. Is English available everywhere? In all of the main cities. Okay, so Bangkok, it's such a big city of 10 million people. Yes, English is spoken throughout, so you won't have any problems communicating. There will be places, if you go to the outer suburbs, it might not be as common, but any of the hotels, anywhere that you're staying on a traditional tourist vacation, No problems at all. All the beaches, the English is amazing. It's great. And up in the north as well, the English is very good. But one of the good things is as well about traveling in Thailand, they make such an effort, and especially if you're up in the hillside tribes, obviously a lot of them won't speak English, but just communicating with hand gestures is what it's all about, and learning their traditional ways in the north. Health and safety. Yeah, I have no problems in recommending Thailand as a destination whatsoever. Like I said, I've been there numerous times. I've got 2 young boys under the ages of 6, and I'm anticipating taking there in the next couple of years. So it's a great family location as well, or destination as well. Tailors to make custom clothes. That's popular. I do find that you do see that in Thailand. That's often associated with Vietnam, though, probably a little bit more. I'm not going to say you don't see it in Thailand, but that's more of a Vietnamese thing. Get a suit made up in one day. But that is something we could look into if you were looking at getting a fitted suit. Your travel advisor would be able to reach out to us, and we could help with that moving forward as well. So if you are looking at that, speak to your travel advisor, and we could get some more information on that moving forward. Thank you. Very beautiful country, Carol. Perfect. There you go, and that's it. So perfect. Any questions that I missed, I will endeavour to do with the follow-up. As we've touched on, many of you, or everybody today, will some way, shape or form be involved with a travel advisor. You may be a travel advisor yourself, or you've invited friends, family, past clients, potential clients for the future, or interested travellers to today's presentation. We have been doing these presentations for the last 2 months, covering Asia, the South Pacific, Australia, New Zealand, Cook Islands, Fiji, Tahiti and the likes, and then obviously Africa as well. We're doing them in blocks of 3. 3 for Asia, 3 for Africa, 3 for the South Pacific. Our next one for Asia will be on Japan, which will be on June the 25th, which will be 3 weeks from today. So we hope you can join us for that. And then our third virtual vacation will be on Bali in Indonesia on the 23rd of July. Now, if you would like to join us at any of those, reach out to your travel advisor and they will be able to give you the details, and you can just tune in very similar to what you saw today. This is our full overview for the next couple of weeks. If you would like to be involved, please, to get a link, just contact your travel advisor. Next week, we're going to Botswana, so Africa. Following week, we're going to Australia, but specifically to the state of Queensland, home capital city being Brisbane, home to the Great Barrier Reef and some great island destinations there. And then the following week, I'll be back in the seat when we take on Asia again into Japan. So hope you can join us for any of those over the next 3 weeks. If you need any more details, please let us know. I did mention at the start of today's presentation that 5 lucky travel advisors will be winning a Pad Thai kit, which you can see on the screen right now. We'll be following up early next week with the winners on this, and then I will also be asking for your address so I can then have these packs sent out to you. There's 15 in total, 5 from each of the presentations that we do today, and we'll be sending those out to you. But it does not matter if you're a travel advisor and you don't win one and you'd like to participate in the cooking class on June 19th, we'll also be sending you the link to the cooking class and the registration for the cooking class. There's no cost to it. But if you'd also like to get one of the packs, they're about $15 or $16. I'll be sending you a link and you can purchase those. I actually purchased one yesterday for some friends and family, and we're going to do it on that day as well, on June the 19th at 4 p.m. I'll be sending a link out and you'll be able to purchase one yourself if you're not lucky enough to win one. The more we got on board, the better. Obviously, I'll be there. There'll be members from the Thailand Tourism Board, and we will also have the chef who's made this all possible. So I'll be sending details on this early next week. Today you will get your normal follow-up email where we give you details on today's presentation, but for the cooking class, all the details will come out early next week. So just be aware of that. I'd like to say thank you very much for joining us, to taking about an hour out of your day to learn a little bit more about Thailand, to go virtually into a country that I love, and hopefully you may be able to have an opportunity to book with a travel advisor moving forward. As we mentioned earlier, a mate is a person who makes Asia travel easier, and I can tell you the travel advisors that are on today's call and for those that have invited you along are doing an amazing job, and I look forward to hearing about your trip to Thailand. Have a great day. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.